Namaste everyone. So today we will talk about HTTP Interceptor. What is HTTP Interceptor? Why do we use it in Angular? And what is the advantage of having HTTP Interceptor? So basically HTTP Interceptor is a kind of, you can say, filter or middleware which stands between your UI technology, that is Angular, and your backend technology. So let's understand it in this way. So I'm just opening a PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm just adding over here one new slide duplicate. Okay. And I'm just deleting it just to explain you what is this uh, interceptor and how does it work. So just imagine this is our UI, that is, let's say, Angular. Okay. And let's say this is my uh, .NET Core or any of the backend API, and then it will connect to the database. So that is separate part. So what happens ideally in our day-to-day life, if I am hitting my backend API from Angular, it will directly, just give me a second, what is not getting closed. Yeah. So what will happen? So like okay, if I'm directly hitting my backend API from Angular, it will directly hit the API. It will not do anything in between. But suppose there is a requirement where you want to modify a request before hitting to the server. And such scenarios are very common because in our day-to-day life, like the moment if we are dealing with token-based authentications, then that interceptor becomes very important feature. So let's say, let's understand it like this is your interceptor. Just understand how I'll tell you. Okay. So now what will happen? Like the moment if you are hitting your backend API with your Angular, it will go through this. So basically, it will be two-way communication. Yeah. Okay. So suppose if your one this upper arrow is for going the request to the backend API, then your the second arrow is again a two-way communication. It is indicating your response coming from the backend API. So now let's understand like I explained what is HTTP server. Now how we can install it in your machine. So this is the command ng generate interceptor that we can use. So I'm just going to create one interceptor for you. Okay, so before even proceeding, I am using higher version of Angular, that is Angular 18 if you can see. So here you can see. So in Angular 18, we have a lot of changes available over here. So I'm just writing ng generate interceptor. So now it will ask for interceptor name. So I'm just saying my interceptor. Okay. So here you can see it has created one interceptor in your machine. So yeah. So here you can see in this file my interceptor is available. I'm just writing one console.log message saying hello from my interceptor. Okay. So as I explained you earlier, like it acts a filter between your backend and your front end. So ideally, now we should get this message from console window. So I'm just writing. So here I'm going over here. Okay, so my project is not running. I'm just writing ng serve. Now it should run. So here you can see local 420 4200. So the moment I'm hitting this call, if it is calling the API, so I'll show you my code over here. In app component, I have created one HTML button. I'm calling this method call API, and this call API is just simply calling my backend API. Backend API is over here, which is running. You can see, and if you will see my Swagger URL, then here is my Swagger URL. I'm just writing Clicking on execute, it is giving me the API response in array format. So I have just created one plain .NET Fresh project so that I can show you how to hit the API from Angular, and how to modify the API and how your request goes through the interceptor. Okay, so what you can see over here, I have created the interceptor, very basic, and I'm hitting the API, but here I'm not getting the console message. Why? Because we have only created the interceptor, but we are not telling Angular like this is interceptor and my every request should go through my interceptor. So we'll have to tell Angular. So now in Angular 18 we have something different. So you need to go into this appconfig.ts, into this provide HTTP client, because your interceptor will work with HTTP client. So go inside this provide HTTP client and here mention your interceptor name like this. Okay. So now if you will go and check, now I should get the console message. So here you can see hello from my interceptor, right? You can see here my count is increasing. I'm just writing one console message just to simplify the messages so that it's not so you got the count because it is grouping. I'm just saying new off date. That's it only. So that it should not group my console message. So here again I'm saying you can see my date and time is changing, and the moment I'm calling API it always says hello from my interceptor. So you can also write down here dot, let's say if I'm writing pipe, then again you can write map operator. I mean, you can do a lot of things over here. Return X. So console dot log. I'm just saying inside comma X. Okay. So now here you can see I am getting status is 200, status is okay, type is 4, and this is my URL. That's it only, right? Yeah. So here you can see, and let me write again console message in my app component so that we should know what is executing first and what is executing last. Yeah. So here you can see, if you will check my console message over here, this is my first console message, and see here said inside 0 and then says is HTTP response. Okay. So here you can see even this is my actual API response. So I'm writing just API response in component, and over here in interceptor I'm saying inside interceptor. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just clearing it and calling the same API again. So here you can see very first time it is giving me response in interceptor itself, and then it is giving me the actual response in your app service. Yeah, in this file my service.ts. So here I'm calling the same URL. So now so here it shows like a key, if you want to modify request before hitting to the server, and if you want to modify response before going actually from the your HTTP client, you can use interceptor. Interceptor is very useful. You can also use interceptor in order to add tokens in your each and every request, so that your each and every request should be authorized and should be always legitimate. So these are things very important in interceptor. And if you don't know how to use HTTP client, then I have already created another video for it. Please go ahead and check it. Link will be provided into the description. And if you feel it is adding value in your Angular knowledge, please feel free to share, subscribe. Thank you.